The gentle click-clicking sounds carried through the darkness. She didn't know from where they originated, but the noise appeared distant, and the repetition was somehow hypnotic. With precious little else to occupy her thoughts, she spent many an hour trying to figure out the source. Initially, she considered that they might come from a nearby industrial unit or workshop. However, those thoughts had gone now. The sounds were constant and almost never altered in pattern, no matter what the time of day or night. Not that she knew when one passed into the next. Standing on her bed, little more than a stinking mattress on the floor, she reached up to the vent. A slight breeze brushed over her fingertips. On tiptoes, she opened her mouth in a vain attempt to inhale the clean air. It was useless. There was so little to be had. Hearing what she thought was a movement beyond the door, she looked in that direction. Dropping back down, she sat herself on her bed and hugged her knees, willing the door to remain closed. The sliver of artificial light creeping under the threshold created something of a paradox for her. The feeling of comfort that is usually drawn from light was absent. In here the opposite was true. The darkness, as wholly encompassing as it was, brought the only respite from her torment. A memory from childhood, one long forgotten, came to mind. The warmth of the light, illuminating the landing beyond the bedroom door, signified that protection was near. A bad dream or a sense of loneliness could be relieved within moments of a frightened call to her attentive parents. Not so in this place. Her parents were long dead now. She chastised herself for the fleeting notion that she would be better off with them. Not doubting that that was true, she forced her family to the forefront of her mind. They had to be her focus as well as her motivation for the things that she had done and would still have to do in the coming days. Reminding herself of the core principles instilled in her over the recent weeks, compliance, obedience, and willingness, she knew that those words would be their salvation. The key to getting out of this damp, stale environment lay in practicing those virtues. The teachings at Mass had not been too dissimilar. On occasion there were sermons focusing on the torment of the world, the family unit and the conflicts within your soul. Challenges would lie in your path. Some were set for you to rise above, others to battle, and all to overcome, lest they devour your spirit. For now she was living through such times. There was still hope, and her faith remained strong. The door stayed closed, and she stared at it for a few minutes. The sound was only a trick of the mind. She was grateful. The moment that it opened, her nightmare would intensify. Another draught from above brought much-needed fresh air into the room. The ventilation system had to run somewhere. She considered, not for the first time, whether the vents served other buildings also. If so, there was always a chance that someone would hear her pleas. The urge to scream at the top of her voice through the grate was almost overwhelming. Remembering, however, that unnecessary noise brought about punishment, she kept quiet. Memories of previous experiences flashed back through her mind. They were a stark reminder. She didn't want to go back in the pit. She never wanted to go back there. Besides, no one had ever come to her aid before when she had called out. Why would this time be any different? No. She had to follow the rules. A sound emanated from the next room. This time she was certain. He was coming. His boots broke the shaft of light that crept under the door. It was time. With held breath and an unbroken gaze in that direction, she waited to hear the key turn in the lock. Feeling her heartbeat quickening, she willed this to be the last time. Her spirit dissipated as the telltale sound came to her ear. She whispered what was expected of her. Compliance, obedience, and willingness.